Hello everybody and welcome back to Blanche Case Fitness. It's Friday and you know what that means. It's time for functional home fitness where we do weight training using objects you can find around the house, and it is our first stream as a Twitch affiliate channel. Holy crap. We did it, my friends. Less than a year after I started this channel in the middle of a pandemic, with just like everything seemingly falling apart around me. And now, my friends, we've got an amazing little community. We are a Twitch affiliate, which means that you can actually subscribe to the channel now instead of just following, which is just so exciting. Oh my God, what an amazing way to wake up this morning. So, woo! I might be a little excited today if you couldn't tell. But yes, hello everybody, happy Friday. As you can see, I'm far more energetic today than I was on Wednesday. Thank you to everybody who was there with me on Wednesday, very much appreciated. Yeah, still exhausted because, you know, the world insists on being exhausting all the time, apparently. But I'm feeling a lot better and more grounded, which is nice. And it's a good reminder that, you know, nothing lasts forever. Even those terrible, days or weeks or months where you feel like you're drowning in your own brain. Nothing lasts forever. And now it's Friday, and it's our favorite way to round out the week with some good old-fashioned weight training. It's been a pretty good week here. Some precipitation, which is always nice. Oh my God! Look at that! Merriman Lion subscribed at tier 1. Thank you so much. Oh my God, that's just gonna be so exciting. So exciting this whole time. Holy crap. Oh, wow. Okay, well, my friends, this is a new experience for me. Oh my goodness, it's really just amazing, honestly. You know, I started this channel a year ago and I didn't really have like a plan for it other than, well, crap, I guess I'm not going to be able to teach in person for longer than I thought. So I guess I'll do this instead. And what an amazing time it's been. What an amazing ride. And oh my God, we get to keep doing it. We get to keep working out together, which is just so exciting. And building out the channel and all of this stuff. And my friends, I am thrilled, I tell you. So yay. If I don't start class now, I'm just going to be like excitedly chattering about how happy I am for Twitch affiliates. So I should probably start class soon. Hi. If you are brand new, welcome to Blanche Case Fitness. Today is our weight training day. We do it with just stuff that you can find around the house. Accessibility is a big thing for me, and obviously not everybody has gym equipment at home. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, see, well, we're just gonna just expect for class to be interrupted every once in a while today with me just giggling a bit. But yes, so not everybody has gym equipment at home, including myself, quite honestly. I've got a mat, and that's all. And that's great because, as we know from the rest of the classes, you can get an awesome workout with just a mat and yourself. But sometimes you want to do some weight training, and you can still get an awesome weight training workout at home. Book bags are a big thing that I use. I also, like, if you've taken class with me long enough, you know that my trusty giant laundry detergent bottle is basically my favorite weight training object. And, you know, boy howdy, is it heavy enough for the work that I want to do with it. So, yes. So we weight train with stuff you can find around the house. So hopefully you have wandered around your house and gathered some things. My 2 advisories for this class, one more specific to this class and one more about free weight training in general. If you're brand new to functional home fitness, then obviously we are weight training with objects that are not designed as weights. They're not designed with nice ergonomic shapes and easily understandable centers of gravity, and they don't have the amount of weight nicely written in pounds or kilograms on the side. So it's harder for us to deliberately load ourselves for the exercises we're doing. So if this is your first time, you're still getting a sense of what you might be able to use for class, err on the side of caution. Start lighter, and then when you get to the end of a set, if you're like, you know, I could probably do more, then cool, you can load up more for the next set. Or maybe you get to the end of the set and you're like, oh, you know, that felt easy at first, but definitely, I definitely need to keep at this level, or you may even need to ramp down, all right? Just be cautious today. And then the more you do, the more you will get a sense of how light and heavy things are and what exercises they may be good for. And you'll be able to be a little more deliberate going forward. This is why I like book bags, because you can just load them up with books and take stuff out, and you can really keep a little bit more control over the amount of weight. But yes, if this is your first time and you're not used to weight training with random stuff from around your house, then please do err on the side of caution. The other advisory is more general to weight training, particularly free weight arms training. We are not symmetrical creatures. We all have stronger sides and weaker sides, which no doubt you are aware of. And when we're doing free weight training, arm exercises, you know, where we have one weight in each hand and we're moving them through the air, it can be really tempting to go, well, I want to pump up my weaker side to match my stronger side, so I'm going to load based on the capacity of my stronger side. And that will obviously jumpstart the strengthening of my weaker side. No, always load to the capacity of your weaker side, not your stronger side. Because if you're overloading your weaker side for what it can actually handle from a weightlifting perspective, then it's going to be making really unhealthy compensations to try and even maneuver the weight through the air. It's more likely to lose control of the weight, which is more likely to set you up for injury. And it's not going to get you stronger faster on that side, okay? So if you pitch the weight towards what your weaker side can manage, it might feel lighter on your stronger side, but it's not going to like magically decrease the strength of your stronger side, okay? So always keep that in mind. Okay, we better start class soon. I'm just gonna sit in front of the chat and giggle every time. Every time there's subscription. Marilyn Lyon, thank you for gifting a sub to the Mad Punter. Huzzah. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's do a pre-class checklist, my friends. This is gonna be a comfort class for me. I'm excited and bouncy and also a little tired because it's been a hell of a week. So this is going to be a comfort class with exercises that are fun for me, and I am really excited. So pre-class checklist, we start with our water in whatever vessel we are using. Oh, I can tell that I have not hydrated properly today. See how much of that I drank? It's always a good check at the beginning of class. Take a sip of the water and see how much your body goes, oh my God, I need to drink that. Because you may find that you're a little more dehydrated than you thought you were. You've got your comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you. You've got your mat or mat-sized space on the floor. And if you use a fitness wearable, we can turn them on now, not to high intensity interval training, but to traditional strength training or some sort of similar setup. I don't think it can be the first subscriber ever, because Merriman Lyon is not the first subscriber. A friend of mine subscribed a couple of hours ago. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe you get the first badge if you're the first person to subscribe during the stream. Who knows? Twitch is a magical and mysterious place. That is also a possibility. That is also a possibility. Anyway, my friends, let's warm up. All right. Let me actually pull that speaker back so that you're going to be able to hear the sounds. That's kind of important, I think. Okay, let's do our warm up. Oh, goodness. And, you know, keeping in mind, it's Friday. Many of us have had a full work week. Many others of us are still in their work week. So, you know, we always want to honor where we are, right? We talk about that every time we do class. We want to honor where we are. We don't want to ignore that fact. We want to use where we are to guide what we want to do in class, okay? And just because, for example, you're tired going into class doesn't mean that it's going to guide you in the same direction each time. Sometimes we come into class and we're tired and we're like, all right, I am going to use the warm-up to sort of energize myself and I'm going to push a little harder. Sometimes we come into class tired and we're like, I'm feeling really bone weary and I think I need to just focus on the bare minimum today. And both of these are totally fine approaches to class. So always remember, we are not here to be pretending that we're not feeling what we're feeling, for lack of a better term. Actually, I think that's a pretty good way to put it. All right, it's class time, my friends. It's so class time. Here we go. Our first warm-up as Twitch affiliates. Starting on our mats, on our backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, and as soon as you hear that horn, we will begin with hip rocks and bridges. Yeah! Oh my goodness. Here we go. Woo! Yeah, it's fascinating how having a more in-depth job, even though it's not like me being up and about all the time, it's still exhausting. It still uses a lot of my energy. It's more intellectual energy than physical energy. Obviously, my physical energy gets used in this job. But yeah, I definitely get to the end of the week and I'm like, oof, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that exhaustion a little bit. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing to remind ourselves that, you know, we are using a lot of energy. And, you know, we're using a lot of energy right now, full stop, just as we navigate the landscape of living through a pandemic. And, you know, it's interesting. There have obviously been periods of time that have felt more intense on that score and periods of time that have felt less intense on that score. And I feel like for me, the times that have been the hardest have been the ones where it felt like the consensus on what people should be doing was changing so rapidly. You know, so last March when like nobody had any understanding of like how long quarantine was actually gonna have to last, and you know, we went from going, oh, this will just be like maybe it'll last to the end of the month, to going, oh, well, maybe it'll last to the end of April, to going, well, surely it'll be done by the end of June, and then going, okay, we're apparently in this for a long haul. And then once we got into the long haul period, I feel like, at least for myself, it evened out a little bit, because it was like, okay, I can acknowledge this as the new normal, and I can plan for that mentally and emotionally. But now, you know, the vaccine is coming out and people are getting it, and I feel like now there's that shifting again in terms of trying to figure out how to be safe, you know, what to expect, what timeline to expect. You know, people keep trying to post these super optimistic articles like, oh yeah, we'll have herd immunity by April, or we'll all be vaccinated by May. And I'm just like, I cannot imagine that is true. But it's definitely stressful, you know, because we are once again in one of those periods of this process where we are all trying to navigate our understandings of what we're supposed to be doing right now. And it's not necessarily particularly cohesive right now. So yeah, so that just creates a baseline level of tired, for me anyway, and I'm sure for many of you, you know, where we're just like, we've been doing this for almost a year at this point, which is wild to me. Absolutely wild. Somebody pointed out that that like the coming week was the last sort of normal week before everything shifted, and I'm just like, holy crap. You know, this time last year, like, my mom was in town and had been traveling with all of her sisters. I'm just like, you know, that could have very well been a very different outcome if she'd been traveling later, or if, you know, something had happened on that trip that thankfully did not happen on that trip. And it's like, wow, we, you know, there were hints, but we did not understand the breadth of what was coming. That's for sure. That is for sure. So yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a hard March, you know, both for the anniversary of all of this and for just trying to recalibrate, you know, our expectations and trying to figure out how we can keep ourselves safe, keep our community safe, and maybe plan a little for the future. It should be nice. I would very much like to be able to say, ooh, I'm going to go on a trip at this point. But you know, I don't feel comfortable doing that yet. And I'd like to. Maybe that's not my goal for March, but maybe my goal for April is to try and figure out, try and actually sort of, in hope, plan a trip. You know, that would feel very nice. We will see, my friends. But for now, we are here. We are working out. We are taking care of ourselves and each other. And you know what? Even once we can travel again, that's not going to change. That is not going to change, my friends. I'm going to be right here working out with y'all and having fun and talking about silly things and important things and intense things. And we are going to have a grand old time. And I am so excited about it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it is definitely, I have noticed over the last month that I do definitely get to the weekend and feel pretty tired. Which is not in a negative way, just in a, all right, you know, I've got a lot of stuff that I'm doing right now, and I'm working pretty hard on it, and it's, you know, it's tiring, and I'm trying to remind myself to make space for the fun things, the things that rejuvenate me. Yeah, just also trying to recognize when the best thing I can do for myself is to literally rejuvenate myself by like going to sleep. Which I feel like people forget to put that on their list, you know, their self-care list. People are like, oh yeah, you're supposed to like take a bath or go for a walk or etc. etc. I'm like, or you could just go to sleep, because that could probably help. I've definitely been napping more frequently in the last month, which is really nice. I think napping gets a bad rap when we're kids, and then, you know, when we get to a point where we would appreciate it, we find that it has been built out of the adult schedule, which is just so silly. Or at least it's been built out of the adult schedule in the United States. Like, my understanding is that there are plenty of other countries around the world that do, you know, have nap time, basically, and have that built into just sort of the societal expectations for the day. But sadly, here in America, we have not done that, and I think we need to bring back the nap. Damn it, bring back the nap, bring back the nap. What do we want? Nap time. When do we want it? I don't know, maybe around 1 p.m., something like that. Yeah, you can see I did have a little bit of a nap, but I probably could have stood to have a longer one. But that's okay. That's okay. We are here working out, doing our warm-up squats right now, holding our imaginary PVC pipe in the air. Someday I'll get a real one, and you'll actually be able to see me using it and go, oh, that's what they're envisioning when she does that. But yeah, it's one of those things that like would be very easy to get. I could just stop by the local hardware store, but also it is not particularly high on my list in terms of equipment that I might need to or want to acquire for myself. So someday, or, you know, someday I'll make it back into the BRC gym and I'll just take a picture of myself with the PVC pipes I use when I teach there. Oh man, really liking these Samson stretches right now though. Ooh, yeah, you can tell when you've spent the whole day sitting and haven't really moved around a ton. I was on my couch for most of today because Fridays are a much more relaxed work day, which is nice, but I definitely didn't move around a ton, and I can feel it. Make sure those hip bones are pointing straight forward, okay? No matter where your leg is, you don't want that hip turning out. This is a different position. You want to envision headlights on your pelvic bones that are always pointing forward, no matter what, all right? And now we do our wide squat with the shoulder twists. There we are. I've had a client tell me that this is difficult on their wrists because of the pressure, and we are sort of using our hands on our knees to lever them out and keep them safely over our feet. So if that is something you're experiencing, definitely play around with where you place your hands on the knees, because I have mine a little bit back from the knee proper, and that's fine for me because I don't have too many wrist issues particularly, but putting them closer to the knees themselves may allow you to sort of extend the wrist a little bit more. So just keep that in mind. It is something I've heard that has been experienced. So if you've experienced that as well, then don't worry. Don't worry. There are safe ways to modify. And as we've talked about, depending on what your sort of overall injury condition map is, you should always understand what modifications you may need to make to an exercise to make sure that you are staying safe with whatever injury condition you have. So as an example for myself, with my shoulder stuff, if there are exercises that require me to be moving my arms straightened through space, I will probably keep my elbows bent rather than straightening them, just because it reduces the range of motion, which reduces the impact on my shoulder. So that's just something that I have to keep in mind every time I do exercises like that. All right, or when we come over here to the kick throughs, which obviously have a lot of components to them. If you have any knee issues, then you may want to move more slowly with them. So rather than trying to get into that really fast cadence, you may want to be like, okay, here I am, and now here I am on the other side, and just making sure that you're not putting any unhealthy torquing pressures on your knee at any point during that transition. Okay, so always know what modifications you may need to make to any given exercise in order to stay safe. Because that's, obviously, if you have questions about that, ask, always. And, I will respond to the best of my ability, or go away and think about it and come back with an answer. But once you start learning that information, then you should feel empowered to integrate it into any class or any activity that you undertake, okay? So you should not feel like you need to wait until the teacher tells you specifically. Like, if you know this is an injury state that I've had, this is the chronic impact that it has, and I need to make sure that I take care of that, then you can do that without the go-ahead from me, okay? Oh no, kicked yourself on a kick through. Curses. Oh my goodness. Ah. Hello everybody. Look at that. Another subscription. Thank you, B Pastry. Did I miss any? See, I don't think I missed any. Good, okay. I didn't miss any others. Yeah. See, Michelle and I are gonna have to come up with subscriber alerts sooner than I expected. Woohoo! Oh man. I am thirsty. Ooh, the emotes are in the works. I think I have 3 slots as an affiliate. So yeah, we've got the emotes. And I I'm so excited. Well, we don't have the emotes. They're being designed. They are in this round of graphic design. So, what do you want? Oh, I know what you want. Yeah, you need to shoot. Okay, my friends, my dear friends, we are gonna do some class. Yeah, oh my God. It just, every time I look over at the chat and I see all those ones and all those subscription notices, it's just, it makes me feel really excited. Thank you all so much for coming on this journey with me and for sticking with me as we head into this next phase of it, I guess, officially. All right, we're gonna do 5 exercises today. That's not the timer I want. That's the timer I want. Yeah, we're gonna do 5 exercises today, but 2 of them are just gonna be, well, 4 of them are gonna be side 1, side 2. Okay? So, so the first side 1, side 2 is going to be farmer's carry. So 1 arm farmer's carry, okay? So for a farmer's carry, just in terms of positioning, we can use a heavier weight than normal. So, you know, you're not having to move the weight around, you just have to maintain it safely by your side. So you can generally manage a heavier weight than normal. You want it out from your side a little bit so it's not leaning in here, and you want to make sure that your shoulder is engaged and not getting pulled down or overcompensating and pulling it up to your ear, okay? So my shoulder is engaged, but still pretty much in line with my other shoulder, all right? And holding the weight like that, I'm just gonna be walking back and forth along my mat, turning and walking. So this isn't necessarily a rep-based exercise, so I will let you know when a full minute has gone by on the timer, and you can sort of plan from there. But yeah, so we'll do side 1, then we'll do side 2. Next exercise, again, a side 1 and side 2, we're gonna do our weighted leans, because I do enjoy them. So, we're gonna take our feet about hip width, engage that core similar to the farmer carry. We want the weight out from our side a little bit, and this time we're gonna let it come down, still keeping the shoulder engaged and controlling the weight. And then, I'm going to engage my obliques and my abdominals and bring my torso back straight up and down. And we're just gonna go over and up and over and up, and then side 2, okay? And our 5th exercise, I didn't bring a bag up with me today. Curses. Our 5th exercise is going to be wide squats. So you might have also heard of this as Sumo Squats. I'm trying to rename it. I don't have a great name for it yet. If I was doing this in the gym, I'd be using 2 dumbbells, but since that's harder to achieve at home, I will frequently modify exercises to be 1 heavy weight, just like I'm gonna do here. And we're gonna take a nice wide stance, feet turned out, and we're gonna squat and let the weight come down towards the floor and push back up to standing and squat and stand. All right, so yeah, that's the story for today. We've got our farmer's carry, side 1, side 2. We've got our weighted leans, side 1, side 2. And we have our wide squats. So, you know the drill. We put this timer on. We've got 2-minute intervals. So as soon as you hear the horn, you begin the exercise. And then once you stop the exercise, you will use the rest of the timer as rest. So the only ones with, well, no, most of them have reps actually. So for the farmer's carry, I'll let you know when a minute has passed and you can sort of gauge whether you want to keep going or not. For the weighted leans and the squats, let's go from 25 to 35 reps, depending. So timer goes, you do all those reps in a row, and then you rest. And then you'll hear a knock, knock, knock. That's your 10-second warning to get into position for the next exercise. Alrighty? So, everybody on your mats? Everybody got your weight? Whatever that looks like today. Can I hit the start button? There we go. This app was not necessarily well designed for the modern generations of iPhones. All right, so as we do our farmer's carry, we want to be checking in always on that shoulder, making sure it's engaged, making sure that the weight never starts conspiring with gravity to go, oh, let's just start dragging the shoulder down, that'll be fine. You also want to make sure your core is engaged, because that, again, is an excellent stabilizing muscle group, and that is going to help you hold everything together and provide this nice, solid center base for your arm to be working from. You can let the other arm sort of drift out a little bit as a counterbalance, all right? I'm not trying to hold it directly next to my side. All right, 1 minute has passed, just so you know. So you can go ahead and rest or keep going for a little bit if that's what you'd like to do. Whatever you choose to do, my friends, I'm not going to stop you. Oh man, yeah. I like the farmer's carry because it's a deceptive exercise. It's one that can feel like it's not doing anything until suddenly that switch flips and you go, oh wait, no, never mind, this is doing a lot. I didn't notice it before, but yee. So yeah, I've really sunk into this exercise in recent months. All right, getting ready for side 2. Again, making sure that shoulder's engaged, making sure you're holding the weight out from your side a little bit. We are very deliberately walking side to side on our mat. If you have more of a runway in whatever space you're in, you don't have to stay confined to the mat. You can just sort of walk like the full distance of whatever room you're in. You know, I stick on the mat because I have to make sure that I'm still easily visible in the camera. And you know, when we do this in classes, in-person classes that I teach, generally I'll have people stick with the mat because space is at a premium. But you're in your house, so you can do whatever you want, my friends. All right, a minute has passed. So just do with that what you will. Don't forget to keep drinking water. In fact, I'm going to come and sit myself down, drink some water. All right. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, nap time. Like, heads down wherever you are. I like that. The only thing I don't like about that is not everybody wants to nap at the exact same time. So, like, just having the flexibility that, like, okay, I'm going to take my nap time now because I'm tired. That would be really nice. That would be really nice. And, you know, hopefully with more people being able to work from home going forward into the future, maybe that will be something that people feel more comfortable doing. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, side 1 for our weighted leans. I do really love the weighted lean exercise. So we really want to be using our abdominals to drive this, okay? And our glutes are engaged as the stabilizing muscle group here, because that's going to keep my legs as this nice stable base for me to move back to. But our core, our abs are generating all of the movement. They are propelling us back up to standing, okay? Having to apply a little extra force to counteract the additional weight that we're holding. So yeah, this is something where you really need to check in and make sure that it is the abdominals doing that work. Oh, important stuff, important stuff. It's harder to not use the abdominals, which is nice, you know. Again, like the slow leg lower, it's harder to compensate with other areas for this exercise. But the other thing you want to make sure of is that you're checking in on your shoulder and that it's still not letting the weight sort of drag it down, okay? Whenever we are holding those heavy weights in our hands, sort of down by our sides, we want to make sure that our shoulders are engaged. They are not being controlled or dragged along by the weight itself, okay? They are in control, and they are helping us to control the overall movement, all right? So something to keep checking in on when we look at the form for this exercise. We've got stabilization through the glutes. We've got movement generation through the obliques. Remember, you can always be exhaling on the effort. That's the nice phrase that my dear friend Steve told us in chat some months ago that I very much like. And checking in on that shoulder and making sure that even as we are letting ourselves over to the side, we are not letting that weight run out of control, okay? And you can feel the difference, absolutely. So you really want to make sure that you are touching base and just making sure that your shoulder is always engaged, okay? And we talk about how important our shoulders are and how easily unstable they get because they are designed with this huge range of motion, which is awesome and helpful, but also means that they can be much more prone to injury if we are not also training them to strengthen and to be able to stabilize when we need them to do that. Alrighty? Woo! All right. One more exercise in this first round. I guess I didn't say earlier that we're going through 4 times, but that's pretty much always what we do. So I suppose I should say it anyway, because not everybody in class is always going to be a regular. So yes, we're going 4 times through, my friends. This is the end of the first time through. So we're doing our wide squats here, and I'm not trying to touch the weights to the floor, okay? And I do want to make sure that my core is engaged so that I'm not letting my torso be dragged forward by the weight, all right? Everything that we're doing today has a very critical component of, okay, in what way is gravity going to try to drag me in the direction of this weight, and what do I have to do to make sure that that doesn't happen? So for this exercise, I make sure that my core is nice and strong and it is preventing me from letting my, basically we don't want to be pulled over by the weight, alrighty? So that was our first time through. So we're taking our nice little rest. Remember, you can chill, you can stretch out a little bit, make sure to drink some water, you can shake your arms out, whatever you want to do. We have a lot of carrying heavy things and a lot of like stabilizing our elbows and our shoulders. So maybe while you're resting, you want to sort of move things around and loosen them up a little bit. All right? All right. Round 2. Getting into position. Again, holding that weight slightly out from our side, making sure that shoulder's engaged. Yeah, making sure those abdominals are engaged. As you know, if you've been with me long enough, basically there are few to no things that we ever do where I am not going to recommend that your abdominals be engaged. They are just such an incredible stabilizing muscle group and movement and force generation muscle group. They do it all, and they are very good at it all. So make sure that you are always checking in, and I'll call them out on the exercises where it's particularly important, but I honestly would recommend in just about everything that we do that you check in. All right, a minute has passed, my friends. So taking that nice little rest, I'm gonna grab myself some water. Who's got fun plans for the weekend? It's gonna be like, it's been warm here this week. I'm gonna get to play D&D outside tomorrow, I think, which is exciting. And certainly has not happened for the last few weeks, given the cold and the snow. So, woo, yay! There is something extremely special about being able to play D&D in person, whether or not you can, sit right next to people or have to be sort of at a distance. It is something special. It is something special. Okay, yes. I had a moment just then where I was like, what exercise am I supposed to be doing? But I'm doing the correct one. So that's the good news, friends. That's the good news, is that I actually figured out what we were doing and was doing it correctly. So, huzzah, yay me. And that's okay, none of us is going to be 100% on top of our game all the time, every time we work out, okay? I don't care how long you've been doing this. You are always going to have a time when a minute's gone by. You're always going to have a time when you start moving on that first ta-ta sound, even though that is not the go sound. You're always going to have a time where, your brain just sort of brain farts in the middle of warm-up and suddenly you're like 2 exercises ahead or 3 behind or something like that. It happens. It happens. No matter whether you've been doing this class for 2 months or 2 years, that is always something that's going to happen. And, just like with, when people talk about meditation, which is not something that I do frequently. All right, round 2 of our weighted leans. Just because it does not work for me in the way that I know it works for other people. But one of the things that I have heard meditation instructors talk about is, you know, the point is not I have to have no thoughts the whole time, and if I ever think a thought, I've lost. You know, that's not the purpose. The purpose is training yourself to notice when your mind begins to wander and to gently pull it back to where you're trying to focus on. And it's the same thing for exercise. It's the same thing for, you know, wanting to really make sure that our form is solid in whatever exercise we're doing. We are never going to have 100% perfect form all the time. But what we can absolutely train ourselves to do, and should train ourselves to do, is to notice more quickly when we've started to lose a component of the form and pull ourselves back to it. Or go, oh, I'm losing the form because I'm feeling signals that maybe there's injury potential, or that I have reached, you know, my failure point and I need to just stop doing this exercise, you know? But yeah, the point is not perfection. Again, perfection is an unattainable, useless standard. Perfect is the enemy of good, okay? We are not looking to be perfect because that is unachievable, but we are looking to get better at noticing when we do start to lose components of the form, and then just pull ourselves back into it as quickly as we can. All right, so maybe I'm not engaging my abdominals perfectly the whole time, but you know, I get 1 rep, maybe 2 in, and then I go, my abdominals don't feel like they are engaging the way that I normally would expect them to for this, so I better check in and make sure that I'm still using them correctly for this exercise. All right, so let's always remind ourselves of that. I feel like it's an important thing to say, and to say often, because so frequently we approach things from this it's either perfect or I've failed mindset, which is obviously a really dangerous and kind of toxic mindset, but many of us are prone to it. I know that I am, and so it's something that I like to call attention to remind us that it's not true. It is not true, no matter what our anxiety is trying to tell us, no matter what our memories of, going through the school system are trying to tell us. Life is not a binary between you're either perfect or you've failed, okay? It's not. And I always want you and want myself to be acknowledging my improvements. We want to acknowledge our improvements always, even if we don't hit the exact target that we were going for. That does not take away from the things that we absolutely did achieve, okay? And I guarantee you that if you're working on something, if you're coming here and you're taking class with me, then you are improving and you are achieving so many things, whether or not you hit the specific metric that maybe you set out for yourself. You are still doing a great job and you are still achieving things. And that is so important for us to remember and to remind ourselves, okay? So always, always, always remind yourself that you are achieving so much, okay? And your anxiety lies. I know this will shock and horrify you. I'm sorry to be the one to let you know that your anxiety does not necessarily have your best interests at heart. I know some will say that I am lying, but I only speak the truth. I only speak the truth, I promise. Dang, I needed water today. Woo! Oh man, I'm gonna have to get a second giant mason jar and start bringing it up for class. All right, we are in our third run through our exercises, my friends. But yeah, I clearly did not drink enough water today. So, you know, just a good thing for me to track of. And I've been doing a lot better with my hydration, but again, perfect is the enemy of good. We are not always going to be perfect. It's just annoying as shit, but you know, we have to learn to come to terms with this, my friends. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've done a lot of work through my own anxiety over the last decade or so, and it's been an interesting trip, I'll tell you what. All right, a minute has passed, my friends. And you know, I have conversations with my parents, and like a lot of the stuff that I deal with, I can now also sort of see the pathways and see how I internalize things and see the things that my parents also have to work on. And my mom has definitely said at various points, like, I'm really glad that you're figuring this stuff out earlier than I did. I'm like, yeah, you know, so am I. And it's important. And it's, again, another one of those never-ending processes, but it feels good. It feels good to figure out more about how our brains work and how to take care of them. And over here we have our labyrinth guards. One always lies, one always tells the truth, and one stabs people who ask tricky questions. Oh my goodness. That third one is so annoying. We tried to get him to retire, but you know, just wouldn't do it. The benefits are too good. I understand. All right. I feel like I always get very introspective on our Friday classes, you know, because we've hit the end of the week, and these classes are a little later than the rest of my classes, and I'm definitely frequently, you know, just thinking about a lot of things, and wanting to share them. So, yes, maybe someday we'll change the name of the class to Philosophy Home Fitness. I like it. But good things to remind ourselves of, you know, and it can fly in the face of a lot of cultural programming that we receive. So, all right, a minute has passed, my friends. So it's good to pay attention to, you know. It is good to identify those pieces of cultural programming and to start figuring out how we can engage with them and what we want to do with them, whether there is value that we want to take forward with us, or whether there are components that we are like, all right, this needs to go. Yeah, it's like, I love traditions. I think there is a lot of value in traditions, but they should always be examined, and they should always be questioned, and they should always be changed when they need to be changed. And that is something that all too frequently people are not willing to do. They hold traditions up as these inviolate institutions and go, no, it has always been this way and it will always be this way from time immemorial to the inevitable heat death of the universe. And the funny thing is that institutional and human memory being what it is, frequently the things that we think of as, these critical traditions that have always existed, frequently they are things that actually haven't been around for all that long. But because they've been around for our entire life, we think of them as having been around forever. I was in a co-ed fraternity in college, and that is a great place to learn about institutional memory and the ways in which, how easy it is for some things to be forgotten and how easy it is for other things to suddenly take on this massive significance that nobody originally involved in them ever intended them to have. And to just go, no current member of the house, we haven't always done that. That was a thing that somebody did as a joke my senior year or something like that, So it is fascinating, and it can, but it can get really, really intense when you ask people to examine their traditions and to, be honest about whether there is room for improvement, whether there are components that are outdated or dangerous or, harmful. And I've felt it in myself too, when younger generations were talking about changing some of the pledging traditions, and you sort of the thing that people do that I always hate, where they're like, well, my parents hit me and I turned out fine, and I'm like, no, you didn't. You think that it's okay to hit children as a part of raising them. But that was something that I definitely did when people were talking about changing some of the traditions in my house, and I was like, well, I came through that process and I was fine. And then I sort of stopped and heard myself doing that and went, oh, hang on. That's how it starts. And from that moment, I have tried to be much more deliberate about noticing when I have that knee-jerk reaction and then immediately going, all right, let's step back and let's engage in good faith with what we're being presented with, because just because you went through something doesn't mean it's something that you want everybody else to go through, even if it turned out okay for you, So, God, yeah, no, oh, that's exactly how it happens, Claire. That is exactly how it happens. Dang it, yeah. And yes, you're exactly right that technically every tradition just sort of starts with somebody doing something stupid, and then we go, we've always done it this way. But when you're younger, you don't know any better. You're coming into new situations, and all of the people present, have this air of worldliness to them, and you're just like, oh, well, obviously everything they're telling me must be true. Yeah, it's really fascinating to look back on and to see the ways in which we end up sort of playing into cycles. And, that even when we notice the negativity of a cycle in one area of our lives or of society at large, it doesn't mean that we are always going to notice it in all other areas, you know? So just because we've cleared a blind spot in one place doesn't mean it doesn't still exist in another place. It's fascinating. Human brains are fascinating. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I loathe that particular approach. Absolutely loathe the, well, I had to go through this, so you have to suffer through it too. Like, I cannot imagine, I mean, I can imagine it because, again, we were talking about that, but I can't imagine going through something that I recognized as actively harmful and painful to me and then going, well, I want everybody to feel this awful. Like, that's the thing I don't get. You know, I have an understanding of the, like, well, it wasn't so bad for me, so why would it be so bad for anybody else? Like, I do get that approach, even though now I'm like, okay, but just because you haven't experienced something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or that it's not painful for someone else. Like, that I at least understand how people get there. I do not understand how anybody looks at some sort of painful, awful experience and goes, well, I want to make sure that every single person who comes after me goes through this painful, awful experience. Like, no, that is not what we're talking about when we talk about making the world better, friends. Not at all. You know what? I paid off my student loans. You know what I really want? Student loan debt forgiveness for everybody. Full stop. And if we have to prioritize, let's start with African Americans as reparations for slavery. Like, fuck. Just because I paid off my student loans and it didn't become a massive weight around my neck for the rest of my freaking life doesn't mean that I want other people to have to go through that. Like, are you kidding me? All right, we're getting angry. And you know what? It's justifiable anger. It's okay. Y'all are writing novels in the chat and I want to keep reading it, but I have to keep working out. Oh, man. Tons of people, oh yeah, pub tradition. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the thing about college students is that we do not automatically come into new situations with the presence of mind to recognize safety and consent issues. And I think that it's getting better because these things are talked about more in the general public consciousness. So hopefully they are things that more college students are aware of than were necessarily when, say, I was going into college. But yeah, there are a lot of places where where we just don't have the experience or the understanding to be able to deal with some of these bigger situations in safe and healthy ways. And again, I hope that's getting better. All right, a minute has passed. I recognize I forgot to say that in the last one. Sorry about that. But you know, the onus also shouldn't be on college kids to have to you know, create appropriate consequences for bad things that people do. You know, the onus should be on the adults. And quite frankly, this is where universities fail all the fucking time. All the fucking time. They fail their students. You know, we're not going to get hugely into this because what a hell of a note to end class on, but like, I would be shocked if any university ever has dealt with a rape on campus in a way that didn't massively traumatize the victim over and over again. It is one of the most horrifying ways that the cruelty of university administrations can be made manifest. And I've seen it happen way too many times to way too many people I know. And I'm sure that you have as well. So, yeah, bottom line, we shouldn't have kids that are having to make those determinations without, assistance and guidance from adults, but too frequently, kids are making these determinations based on the toxic patterns that they've seen people our age play into. And it's like, this is how the cycle continues. That's the fascinating thing. I'm in my mid to late 30s at this point, and learning so much about how these cycles continue and how they keep going. Because I see peers, I see people who are my age starting to succumb to that generational infighting mentality and the back in my day bullshit, and they're like, these kids today, they don't know what it's like to blah, 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 blah. And it's fascinating to see in real time how people get to a certain point and they go, I am exhausted by always having to learn and open myself up and challenge my own assumptions. So instead, I am just going to pour cement around my current belief structure, and I am going to say that this is how things are, and that the kids are just silly and don't know anything and are trying to ruin the world, and I'm the best all the time. And it's like, wow, I recognize the naivete of this now, but I really thought that we were going to be able to avoid that. But, I guess no generation fully avoids that, which is tragic. So all you can hope for is that enough of your generation avoids it, that we can continue to build out the world in a happier and healthier and more just and more equitable direction as we get older. So yeah, those are my hopes and dreams. We'll see what happens. Let's see if I can actually drink some water this time, because I keep coming over here to drink water and then I keep getting sucked into conversation. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A good conversation tonight, friends. Thanks for engaging with us. With me. I feel like we've gone in a whole bunch of different conversational directions tonight, but I've been very much enjoying it. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, as soon as we hear that knock, knock, knock. All right. Last but not least, our final run of wide squats. So, as always, I will let the timer run out on this, even once I've finished my own set, so that everybody is able to make it through all of their reps and not feel like they're getting cut off. Checking in on that form. We want it just as good here in our fourth run as it was in our first. Making sure those knees are going straight over the feet. Making sure that core is nice and engaged and preventing the weight from pulling us over. Making sure we are in control of the whole movement, no matter where we are in it. All right, and just having a good old time A good old time, my friends, because, you know, we may not have the perfect gym setup. We may be making do with what we've got, and that may feel frustrating at sometimes, but we are doing incredible things with what we have available to us, and that's the goal that I have for this class, is always to help spur our creativity and spur our understanding that, again, we don't have to have the perfect setup in order to have a great workout, you know? And sometimes we prevent ourselves from working out because we're like, no, it has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just have to start doing it. And my friends, we've done it. Woo! All right. We don't usually do a ton of stretching after this class because it's not as high intensity. But let's do our standing quad stretch. Hand up against a wall or on a counter to help the balance. Taking one foot up and back into your hand and pulling that heel into your butt as close as possible so you get that nice stretch in the quad. As I generally remind you, you can do this just as a balance. You don't have to be holding on to something, but honestly, I recommend that you do, even if you can do the balance, because if you're trying to balance and stretch at the same time, all right, let's switch to the other side, then you're splitting your focus and you're not necessarily going to be as effective at either of the things. So yeah, like I can do this as a balance, but I prefer to just have a hand up on the wall, not even worry about it, and really know that I'm getting to intensify that stretch in my quad. Let's just shake those feet out a little bit. Yeah. Roll over the tops of the toes a little bit. Just get that nice stretch going up the top of the foot and into the shin. Going back and forth. We're not putting like standing weight on this. All of my standing weight is on my other foot, but I can increase the pressure to increase the stretch, as with most stretches. And now let's just let our arms swing around a little bit. Bring one arm up to the side, across the body, across the chest. Hold it just above the elbow and pull that upper arm flat into your chest as close as you can, getting a nice stretch in your shoulder and into your tricep. Never forgetting to breathe a little bit. I know that I'm not always the best demonstrator of breathing because I have to talk the whole time, but I will try and remind you all the time. All right, release that arm, let the arms swing back and forth a little bit, and then other arm, same thing. Woo! Definitely feeling that stretch a little more intensely on this side, which is always fun. So, nice big breaths. Yeah. All right, and release. Let those arms shake out a little bit. Shake out those hands a little bit. Let those elbows shake out a little bit. And woo! First official Twitch affiliate stream in the books. It's so cool. It's so cool. Oh my goodness. My friends, we have been on such a journey over this last year. It's been an intense one, but I am so grateful. Yeah. I am so grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful for you, to be able to be talking about generational privilege in one message and then giving me fake air horns in the next message. I'm so grateful for y'all showing up and keeping me motivated to work out so that I can help to motivate you to work out. And we can just have fun and enjoy, you know, strengthening our bodies and getting ourselves nice and stabilized and prepared for whatever we want to be doing, whether it's starting a new job, changing career paths, breaking down the patriarchy, or destroying transphobia and late stage capitalism and white supremacy and all that jazz. I am just so pleased to have you all here. So thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm just really, really grateful to all of you. And I can't wait to see what we get to do next. Holy crap. Yes, Boomer has been a thing for a while. Okay. I'll let y'all keep talking about baby boomers in the chat, but I am feeling dehydrated, so I'm definitely gonna need to do that. But we've got one more class this week. It's tomorrow morning. It's 9 a.m. Yes, 9 a.m. I know time. Time has meaning. They said, not convincingly. Yes, the weekend kickoff at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Our awesome strength and stamina focused bodyweight class. A great way to start off your Saturday. One of my favorite classes. So definitely come join us tomorrow morning. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those handles will be in my end cards, but they are all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel is where I upload all the VODs from these streams, so that you never have to miss a class, even if you can't make the live cast. They go up on Sundays. I'm gonna have to push the uploads a little later now that I'm affiliate, because Twitch gets exclusivity on the streams for 24 hours before I can push them to other platforms. So I need to make sure that weekend kickoff is out of that particular time zone. But definitely head over to YouTube and subscribe. If you want to support me in making these streams, well, I do have a coffee account, absolutely, and your donations are always very much appreciated. And also, we're affiliate now, so you can subscribe to this channel. And, to the people who have subscribed today, thank you so much. This is so exciting. And if you want to help keep growing this community, then please do follow or subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends, loved ones, coworkers, anyone looking for an awesome class. I currently stream 4 days a week. We have an amazing time. We are affiliate now, which means that we are going to have even more fun and amazingness over the rest of this year. And I cannot wait to keep getting to make content for you and with you. And I really, really love having y'all along for the ride. So, yay. All right. I'm going to go refill my water, and you should too. I'm going to go get myself a little food, and you should too. Possibly take a shower, though I haven't, sweat nearly as intensely as I usually do. I don't think there's any technical Gen Z here. Not to my knowledge anyway. Although I guess I haven't actually looked at who's chilling here. No. But yes, go have food, go have water, go shower, and I will see you all back here tomorrow morning. Mwah. Have a great night.